On a wild adventure come Friday, of course. We're talking about Race 2, and we have the team, Saif Ali Khan and Deepika Padukone, with us. Thank you for speaking with NewsX.
Thanks
First,
very
we'd
much.
like to ask you, you're one of the two people who've come from the first film to this one. So what can the audience expect? Completely different? Or have you pretty much stuck to the same concept?
I think as a sequel, one's careful to make a better film than the first time around, so that the audience doesn't in any way feel cheated. Secondly, you make a bigger film, a more glamorous film, a cooler film, because you're surer that people have liked your rough world, so you're more confident to improve it. And lastly, to create a wider audience by making the film a UA movie rather than the very adult first part. So the main thing here is that while it's got action and glamour and deceit and twists and turns, which were the kind of hallmark of the first one, this is more of an action thriller, and there's a little more of a love story also than the first part.
Deepika, we have to ask you, of course, you're working in a sequel, of course, there are comparisons to the first one. But did you take this on as a challenge, in the sense it was a totally different script, of course, and you obviously fell in love with the character rather than, compared to the first one?
But I treated it as a completely different film. I'm sure for the audience it's a part two, but I think for me, from where I'm coming from, it was an entirely new film for me. And as far as expectations are concerned, I think that's there at every level for the producers, for Pritam who's made the music, for him as an actor, the fact that he's been a part of the first one. So there's expectation at every level, and I hope that we've lived up to all of that.
This is your first sequel, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you've worked on. How was that?
No, it was, like I say, you either work in a sequel for a reason or you don't work in the sequel, which is equally cool. Like, Speed 2 wasn't as good as Speed. So there's a danger that people might just, kind of toko it, as you say, and just not take it too seriously and just think that it'll run. But I remember doing Main Khiladi Tu Anari back in the day and said, should we do a sequel? And everybody said in movies that, we don't do sequels in India. So that changed pretty quick. Things, I guess, when something, I never understood why. And I still don't. And it seems obvious when you have a good thing going sometimes to make a sequel. Some films lend themselves well to a sequel. Like Race, I think, lends itself well to a franchise. Whereas some films, just don't. Our sort of finances, when we were making Cocktail together, suggested that we call it Love Aajkal Part 2.
Okay.
Which was because they wanted to, create that, but it's cheating. It's because it's not.